Hey movie review roundtable watchers, it's another week of movie reviewing with my fellow filmmakers. Hello! Today's movie, Morning Glory.
I expect this movie to be fantastic. I'm a big Diane Keaton fan. That's the reason why I'm here. Everybody else is like Rachel McAdams and Indiana Jones, but I'm like Diane Keaton. So it's gonna be great.
The trailer makes the film seem really smart, which is exciting for me as a nerd.
Really looking forward to seeing Harrison Ford. I mean, this is really a departure for him.
For me, this movie had everything I want in a movie. I straight was either crying or laughing the whole time. Now, I will admit that I think Rachel McAdams makes this movie. I don't know if you put another lead character in there would be as charmed, would we enjoy it as much, but I loved this film.
I have to agree with that. I think Rachel made the film, but I don't know. It's like I really enjoyed myself, but I don't know if I'm gonna like watch it again. Like that sounds bad, but there just wasn't. I enjoyed myself the entire time during the film, but there was nothing about it that I watched and I was like, this movie's spectacular and amazing. I need to own this movie. I want to watch it all the time.
I'm probably going to be the lone person here. I liked the movie, but it was painful to watch Rachel McAdams. This is not her genre yet. I would have put someone like, oh God, I can't think of her name. Devil Wears Prada. Somebody give me the name. Anne Hathaway or somebody like that. I think Harrison Ford made the movie because while he was all crotchety, he had that switch.
I had a good time. It was easy to watch. I thought it was cute. It was fun. I thought Harrison Ford was good.
I feel like we can't start even talking about this movie unless we tackle the sort of Rachel McAdams issue. Like, how you could not think she was brilliant is beyond my mind's comprehension.
I think Rachel McAdams is very good. Like Mean Girls, I loved her in Mean Girls, and I loved her in Sherlock Holmes. But there was a disconnect. I felt like she was pushing. I guess as an actor, I'm looking at my movies differently these days, and I just felt at the beginning she was really pushy, then she calmed down in the middle to the end, so from the middle to the end it was better for me.
Her character had to be so over the top and pushy, I think, to make it work. And it was kind of scary because as I'm watching it and she's going through like trying to get job interviews and then she's trying to get someone to convince somebody to go, look, I'm not too young, I don't have experience, but I can do this. Like I felt it. And it was almost kind of painful to watch. And I was with her the whole time.
I feel the same way. I feel like she really kind of shined in this role because she does a lot of those really emotionally driven characters. But this one was more fun, but I think a lot of the characters that she plays, she can pull from herself a lot. Like you can see a lot of like Rachel McAdams in those characters, but with this character, I feel like she kind of had fun with it because the character itself had so many little quirks that I thought made the movie for me. Like everything else was just kind of blasé in comparison to her character. That's what made me like it.
I guess when I said pushy, yeah, she was pushy, but I didn't buy her in the first half. She disengaged from her environment.
I felt that way more about Harrison Ford. That's okay. Like, how terrible am I for like, talking about Harrison Ford?
Have an opinion.
It was his voice that bugged me. It was almost the equivalent of like Christian Bale's Batman voice. Like it was just kind of like this weird gravelly, like I understand he was like the crotchety old grumpy man, like I got that, and he played it well. Like I loved his character and all the way he played it, but it was his voice that I thought maybe he took it too far, and to me it was kind of too stereotypical.
I think he was great and I loved him. I agree with the voice thing, but I think that we went with him on these stories about the grandkids and like when he's cooking and all that stuff because the script was so well done. Like it was like every element you needed to make a good movie was in there, and it was set up so that it didn't matter how he played the role the whole time. I was gonna cry when all that happened.
Yeah, it was definitely emotional.
McAdam, I think it was really exciting to see her engage in a lot of physical comedy. Like, I always have so much respect for people, and her character, it was exhausting to watch because I think we all identify, especially at this like historical moment in time, with that, you know, crazy pull and this relentless drive. And I think the most profound message of the whole film was not about his grandkids. Like, honestly, I don't really give a shit about his grandkids. All right. I thought Diane Keaton was charming and funny, as she always is, but was when they're sitting on the bench and we realize that these are two people from two completely different generations that are struggling with the moment at hand, and that both of them really want is a chance.
But I was glad they didn't go too far down that line, because I feel like a lot of movies always like, oh, that relationship is so common. So I'm really glad they didn't go too far into the melodrama with his family or her family.
Even the directing of this, I just felt everything's flowed. I mean, look at the scene and how it was directed and how it was cut when we started to see the new montages that they were putting in for the show. I laughed so hard that I had tears coming out of my eyes.
I felt like the film itself followed the story, but the story within the film, you know, like it was kind of like choppy at first and you were like, where is this going, da-da-da, and as that family coalesced slowly within the actual show, the movie kind of came that way too, and you really did feel like a family. And I just thought it was adorable that she's always like looking at her phone and watching TV out of her eye, because we get it, you know, we're all addicted to that.
I also was really happy with her boyfriend situation, because in the beginning I was like, is this the kind of thing where at the end of the movie she has to choose between her career and him? And I'm really glad they didn't go down that route.
I thought the writing was fantastic, the directing, the cinematography, and I love the different dimensions of the characters. It made it multi-dimensional. It was so good to see Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, like he wasn't an asshole. He ended up being kind of like, I kind of hated him, but I couldn't completely hate him because he didn't.
You can never hate Jeff Goldblum.
I think that I actually wouldn't have minded if there were some heavier moments, but like not going into the past of the, you know, grandkids and da-da-da, but just like the actual ache of the moment. But I mean, I'm dark and twisted.
No, I hear you.
You know, and I thought it was hilarious just when she's running with, you know, she's constantly running, and then like she takes off her clothes and you're like, damn, Rachel McAdams has a great ass. And then you're like, because she's running the whole film.
I enjoyed watching it. It was a good film, but there was nothing deep enough that made me feel deep enough, that made me really.
It was playing on the surface.
You know what? But that makes sense to me, because if you think about the bigger picture, it's a movie about the production of morning television, and it wasn't like a point of Harrison Ford saying there's not much substance to morning television, it's all about late night news. So maybe if it was a film about late night news, you'd have deeper issues, but because their show was light and kind of fluffy, the subject matter is kind of light and fluffy.
Yeah, I think it was really profound though when he was saying, you know, people are smart. People do want to know things, because obviously when he goes out and he makes that bust on the governor, it is one of the most profound moments of the film. You're like, oh wow, that is real.
But touching on the Diane Keaton thing again, like I was really excited to see her. I love Diane Keaton, and I think she always picks really interesting characters. And I got where she was going with it, but there was something so kind of just surface about what she was doing. I felt like her character could have had more depth. I definitely say go see it. I would not tell anybody not to go see it, because I really did like the film, and Rachel McAdams, she's beautiful, and there's some great shots of her.
I would say definitely go see it. I thought the script was wonderful, the directing, the cinematography, it was great. You're going to be surprised by Harrison Ford, because that is a departure for him. So go see it.
And I laughed my ass off, and I cried pretty much. There was steadily through beginning to end. Rachel McAdams, fantastic, totally charismatic, keeps my attention the whole time. I say any woman who loves romantic comedies, go see it this weekend. I think guys are going to enjoy it, but maybe not as much.
Harrison Ford is charming. I think what's exciting about it is that it does raise questions. Like, it made me think more than I thought it would. And it is a love affair, and it's Rachel McAdams' love affair with her dream. And I think that's what's so exciting about it, and to see a woman just going for it and realizing that you have a man who's been doing it for 40 years who's still going for his dream. You know, that part of us never dies.